Good evening, everybody. This is JD again, and today I'm going to talk to you about the dragons, the dictators of the United States of America, the actual dictators. We have dictators in this country, many of them. Where are they, though? Everyone's elected. Well, a lot of you out there say that everyone is selected, not elected. Well, it's time to get past that. I'm listening to the news. Networks are starting to pick up their candidates. I wish a network would pick me up. I'd be open for real open discussion, willing to discuss anything they want to discuss. National debt. What do we need to do about the national debt? How about jobs inside the United States? How about manufacturing inside the United States? How about the tax problem we have? We know the current tax system is not working. It is so broken down, it is not ridiculous. It is terrible. Sales tax would eliminate a lot of those problems. I know that the federal government is so far from the Constitution, it's ridiculous to the point of where the Supreme Court, for example, eminent domain, Connecticut, Supreme Court made a ruling on eminent domain and said Connecticut had the right to take the property. City did. They took that guy's property. They took his house. The company that was going to build there went out of business. Where that man's house stood is now an empty field. Check into it, people. That's eminent domain for you. Greed. That's what's running everything. Greed. I think something that didn't exist in 1776. People were beyond that. But nothing is going to get fixed. I mean, I'm looking at networks now starting to choose people for their candidates. I wished a network would just dare to have the guts to stand up for the people. I wish a network would say, okay, JD, let's see what you really got. We're going to put you on some talk shows. We're going to hit you with all the questions. We're going to nail you to the wall and see how you spring back. That's, I would love to happen. I did a small piece with one network. They were very impressed. And everybody who listened said I had their vote. Matter of fact, most people I talk to says that. And we talked about a lot of things, and they realized that I do have the ability. You all, I have over 400 and something videos on YouTube. I tell you to go through them. I don't want you to go through every one. I just want you to pick some so you get to know JD. You get to know me. So you see there is. And you know what most of the people who object to me have to say? No one's going to elect anyone who can't spell or construct a sentence. Well, I took creative writing, and fragmented sentence is okay when you want to use it. And I do use run-on and fragmented sentences a lot in my writing. I use them on purpose because sometimes that's the way I talk. Look at the way I'm talking right now. Places where I should stop and pause, I just push it all together, don't even. Sometimes I run out of breath talking on a continuous, long, run-on sentence to get a point across. Then other times, incomplete sentences. See, periods used to say pause, stop. Then someone said, oh, you can't do that. It has to be a complete sentence. Why? Should it? Or should it not? That isn't the way we talk. That isn't the way I want you to read my writing. But I will agree that my spelling is notorious. So, I mean, I can't spell. I'll tell you that. My spelling, if you pronounce the words I mostly spell incorrectly, you'd probably spell them and find yourself speaking with a New York accent. Very strong New York accent. But that's irrelevant here or there. That's not what JD's about. JD's about a government that is so full of greed, so full of corruption, it needs to be turned around. JD's about a government that lies to you every step of the way. Someone who'll say something, and a year and a half, 2 years down the road, do completely the opposite of what they said, and completely against everything they said they're against. I can't do that. See, I always say, if you do what you're against, don't you become exactly what you were against? No. You gotta have strong standards, high standards. And you've got to live by them. I've talked to people who don't vote, especially this one religious group, and I tell them, by you not voting, you tell the government, go ahead, do what you want, it is okay, it's alright. Tell them, go in and vote. Even if you only write the name Jesus Christ. They're very strong religious organization that believes in Christ. That tells the government you're not happy with what they're doing. Whereas if you don't vote, you tell them everything is okay. Just continue on. Now I do hope that they look and check into me a little bit. And oh, by the way, yes, I know I'm in my third marriage. And it's not because my first and second marriage was wonderful and great. Actually, my first marriage was a nightmare. Before my first child was born, when we were having marital problems, at that time, the Navy sent you to see chaplains. I saw this chaplain. He said, the best advice I can give you is don't have any children, get a divorce now, or you're going to be miserable. Well, I told him, well, unfortunately, I'm Roman Catholic. I don't believe in divorces. Forget it. I had children. Totally dysfunctional family. I was miserable. My children was miserable. I can tell you, when you have a wife that does not support you, and you try to support her, you have problems. Now, I wasn't perfect in that marriage, because if I was perfect, I'd be dead. They would have crucified me. No one's perfect. I'm sure my faults were just as many as my first wife's, if not more so. But I never doggone would set my wife up to have a fight with somebody just so I could see somebody beat her up, which she had done many times to me. She just wanted to see somebody beat me up. That's all. So, bottom line is, people, things go the way they go. I'm not perfect. I have things going wrong in my life. But I will tell you this about my third marriage. I found out what I truly believe in marriage is. A partnership between two people. Not 50-50. There's no such thing. It's 100%. Both persons have to give 100%. And it does work. And I am happy. My wife's happy. And my daughter, 8-year-old daughter Samantha, is very happy. She does quite well for herself. Kind of selfish, though. She wants everything in the whole world, and I try to give it to her. But bottom line here, people, I want you all to understand, we can make the difference. We can have either a selected president or an elected president. That's your choice. It's you, the people out there, that must decide. I have over 400 something videos. I do not expect any one of you to go through all of them. But go through and get a feel of what JD is. What James Dennis Creveau is all about. I've been told I'm honest to the point of a fault. Truth is the only thing. Like I tell my daughter, the nice thing about truth is you never have to remember it, because it never changes. Lies you have to constantly remember, because for some reason they tend to change. That's the way I feel about the truth. Sorry, I won't lie to you out there. I'm going to tell you the truth no matter what it is, and let it fall where it falls. That's the way I am. Now, I do believe war is the last of all resource, because once a soldier dies on both sides have lost. I truly believe that. Will I go to war in the future sometime? My answer to that is, if you can tell me what you're going to eat on February 18th, 2015 for dinner, I'll answer that question. If you can't answer that right now, then don't expect me to answer. I don't know what I'll do down the road. I just know I have high standards. Those standards will be maintained above all else. I'm not going to sit there and tell you, oh, war is wrong. And then the first chance I get to make a decision, boom, we're in a war. No, it doesn't work that way. But I'm not going to tell you I will never go to war. But I am going to tell you, I know what it's like to be there, boots on the ground. I know what it's like to deploy for a year at a time in the Navy. I know all those things. And I have had the leadership experience. But this is going to be your time. Your time to decide. Are you going to let the people who control the money continue to control our government and become the dictators of this nation? Or are you going to take control? Greed is running our nation right now. Sales tax will help eliminate that and help our nation a lot. You all have no idea how much. Good night, JD.